what were some of the first things you decided to do once you had this knowledge that fun needed to be integrated? And what was the results about doing that thing?
So it was interesting because it wasn't like a light switch where I was like, oh, I'm going to have more fun because I wasn't having fun before. It was part of my world. But when I looked at what made me happier and where I was most alive, it was definitely in these moments that felt like play. And play is a really interesting word. There's a great book by, I think the guy's name is Stuart Brand or Band. I can't totally remember. Maybe we can look it up, but it's literally called Play. And he's an expert in play and why all mammals actually play. And it's just super powerful. And he says something like the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. And so we are literally depressed if we're not playing. And so you can look at it yourself too. Like, when are you most alive? When are you most lit up? When are you most enthusiastic and inspired? It's probably doing something that you really enjoy and probably feels like play. And that whole idea of, you never have to work a day in your life if your work is your play and your play is your work or something like that. And you start combining that all together. And I started learning that, I think from a really early age of just incorporating things that just sometimes just I would do just for myself. Like in writing a sales letter or something like that, I might put in something funny that would just amuse me into the letter. And sometimes people would catch it, sometimes they wouldn't, but it was just, it was just fun for me. And then I would do other things like, I love this idea of unique experiences, and it really brings people together. And I think we were probably one of the biggest events that happened very early on in the internet marketing, digital marketing days, where I held my 30th birthday bash, and I just turned 50. So that gives you a little time frame. And the idea was it was going to be Yanik's 30th birthday bash. It was $50 to get in. All of it went to Make-A-Wish Foundation. So we raised $25,000 for Make-A-Wish. We had 500 some people there. And then the idea was like, let's make it an actual birthday party. And we had like a gag gift contest. So people like came in. I remember one person brought their beagle, like a dog, in to sing happy birthday to me. Someone else brought in, I don't know, I just got the most random gifts and things like that. And then we had a huge cake, and it was in Disney World. We had Mickey Mouse present and sing the happy birthday song to me, but we didn't have enough cake, so the slices were like this thin for everybody. But still, we had confetti everywhere. It was like a big birthday party. It was a big kids party, and then I had all my friends come and speak and present. And so it was like the first time that I incorporated a lot of fun essentially into an experience, but it had also meaning in it. It had impact where we raised $25,000, and I was like, oh, that was really fun to do. Let's do more of that, and let's lean more and more into that.
I like it. And just to give the kind of reference here, Play is the book by Stuart Brown. And so how it shapes the brain, opens imagination, invigorates the soul. Just to kind of make that plug there.
Yeah, all right. I was close. I had a BR.
You had it.
Sorry, Stuart.
Yeah, I remember one of the most profound questions that we had in our previous conversations around the fact that, do you need to go around the chase of success before you realize that's maybe not the most important thing, or are there ways that you can bypass that? I kind of want to ask a question around a similar type of philosophical question, which is, do you need to kind of master the money making or the impact before you can open yourself up to fun? Or do you find that you can reach those results faster if you are open to fun?
I think that a lot of people, again, like it depends on what they believe. And if they're looking at a very linear aspect of like, I have to do this in one phase of my life, and then I'm okay to do this, versus can I integrate all of it? And especially I love empowering questions, which would be something like, how can I, incorporate more fun and impact into my world right now, and not wait, or something like that. Anything like that makes it a more open-ended question that allows you to start investigating and seeing what could be possible. And so I love questions like that I would sit with a question like that at the top of my journal or at the top of a yellow legal pad, and then just write answer after answer after answer. And, after you get to like 10 or 15, you're going to probably get better answers than your first 2 or 3. And then the other technique that I use a lot is I use my non-dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, so I use my left hand to actually chime in, and that's really powerful because it's going to unlock your entire brain. It's like it's a holistic approach, and you're going to get like a wiser perspective on something. So, again, it's like what do you believe? What could happen? And even I love experiments too. So it's like, all right, maybe I don't fully believe this, but let's just say it's a maybe. And then how do we incorporate a little bit more of this into what I'm doing? And you can do it in a way that you start seeing results. Like I remember, I hadn't thought about this in a long time, and we're coming up on Halloween, kind of close here. And I love Halloween. So, one of my things was like, you never break character. And so I would dress up as whatever my character was, but you never break character in the entire night. And my wife wanted to kill me. We moved in, now it's been a while, but we moved into this nice new neighborhood. And all the neighbors were at least 10 years older than us. And we had just met them, but only the neighbors. And then they threw a huge Halloween party. So I showed up as Borat. And so I had like the green sort of, unitard thing underneath, but then I had the gray suit. But, I walked up to everyone and they're like, oh, Yanik, this is our neighbor so-and-so. And, I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. My name is Borat. And like kissing all the random neighbors that I've never met before. And my wife was breastfeeding at the time. She wasn't drinking. She's like, oh my God, I need to get out of here. But so the entire night was that. And so I love Halloween. And so I would incorporate some of that into some of our promotions because people like personality. And so, this is just reminding me of some of the things that we did. Like we were selling a business copywriting workshop, but we did an entire Halloween theme around it where I was Count Yanik because that was one of my costumes one year. So I had a picture of that, the Count from Sesame Street, where it's like 1, 2, 3, And by the way, the Count as a costume gets very old when you don't break character the entire night. So you need more talking points. Like Borat had more talking points, but the Count has very few talking points. But so I had that, and then I did like a little animation of Yanik turning into a bat and like, the spooky Halloween promotion. And it ended up being a great seller for us because people love, I don't know, just the fun of it, the more personality of it. So whatever it is. And so you can add all these elements into whatever you're doing. And again, just looking at as experiments and be like, all right, well, what can I do? And each person's personality or the way that they're going to incorporate whatever you want to call fun is going to be different. Like it doesn't have to be, I heard this guy Yanik talk about fun, so I'm going to do the exact same thing that he did. And I'll give you a bunch of other examples too as we go along. But it's more powerful when you include, when it's really to you, like what's authentic to you, like what is fun for you, what's interesting for you. And for me, I'm a little bit goofy. I'm a little bit kind of silly, and it comes from a place where I just want to play with other people and enjoy that part. And so if they're not into it, great. But more people are into that than just a boring, kind of rapper that you get in most businesses.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.